With a news update on WHTC Holland's Cool FM, I'm Gary Stevens. A Zeeland manufacturing institution may have received a new life earlier this year, but its base of operations has apparently changed hands. According to multiple reports, Coastal Group last week purchased, through its TKP Investments Holdings, the 20-acre former Howard Miller clock operation site off of East Main at a price of nearly $16 million. It'll be the new home of Coastal Container's secondary operations, assembly, warehousing, and packaging supply division, and give the Holland-based packaging company opportunities for future growth. A year ago, Howard Miller officials announced plans to cease operations in its centennial year of 2026, but a new ownership group purchased the company this past May and planned to relaunch the firm locally. Zeeland Mayor Rick Van Dorp may have been aware of this latest development before it came to light this week.
I know there's been some talks with the Community Development Office about some things they want to do to improve the space, but I haven't seen any plans or anything definite as of right now. But I know there's been some talks out there about doing some improvements and to that facility.
In the wake of this property sale, members of the new Howard Miller staff told Wood TV that they are still working out a part of the warehouses and offices at the East Main site. How can Ottawa County be a better place for living and working? County officials want to know, and this week, staffers from the Lansing-based survey firm Epic MRA will be contacting 400 randomly selected residents over the phone, conducting around a 15-minute interview with each respondent about the county government's directions, priority, financial management, and how information is disseminated. It continues a tradition begun 20 years ago in providing a gauge for county leaders as to what directions they should go in meeting the needs of their constituents. Survey results are expected to be disclosed at an Ottawa County Board of Commissioners meeting this fall. The value of owning one's home has been reinforced by data from a new national study. Last week, research from Washington University in St. Louis for Habitat for Humanity International indicated that the nonprofit's efforts in creating home ownership for low-income residents has led to various benefits, including lasting financial stability, improved wealth building, and stronger overall communities. Dave Rosman, executive director with Lakeshore Habitat for Humanity, wasn't surprised by the results coming from canvassing more than 2,000 homeowners served by 43 Habitat affiliates across the country.
Once a family moves into their home, it's their home. It's in their name. They own it. They're paying an affordable mortgage to them. When we sell the home to the homeowner, we originate a mortgage. The taxes, the insurance, the HOA fee is not going to be more than 30% of their income.
Late last month, Lakeshore Habitat, along with Jubilee Ministries, celebrated the grand opening of its 42-unit Vista Green development off of West 36th Street. Some residents in Allegan County will be without power this weekend. Consumers Energy says it'll be upgrading its Virginia Park substation and some power lines. So as a result, more than 2,700 residents in Holland and Laketown will be without power from around 11 o'clock Saturday night through 6 o'clock Sunday morning. Those who will be affected should have received a postcard in the mail. Several people are hospitalized after an SUV rolled over on northbound US 131 around 7 o'clock last night, just north of I-94.
Portage Public Safety says some of the SUV's occupants had significant injuries, but they've not detailed exactly what those are. Also, how many people were hurt is also not yet known. The crash did close northbound US 131. Authorities have not said what led to the crash. It is back open now. I'm Michael Arning.
Former teacher in Kalamazoo Public Schools is suing the district and former Millwood Middle School principal Aaron Sauter in federal court, alleging he sexually abused her and violated her First Amendment rights by coercing her into a sexual relationship and then retaliating through sexual abuse, also by using his administrative position when she tried to end the relationship. Woman says Sauter began having sex with her in 2024, prevented her from transferring to a different school a year later. She contacted the district of this conduct situation this past May 13th, but claims that it was ignored. Sauter resigned as principal early June this year. The three Republican candidates for governor met up in Southfield last night for the first debate in which they have all participated. Congressman John James, frontrunner in the polls, made his first debate appearance. Spent his time defending himself against attacks from former State Attorney General Mike Cox and businessman Perry Johnson. James noted Cox hasn't won an election since before Apple invented the iPhone, while Johnson criticized James for accepting campaign contributions from power suppliers and data centers developers. A new poll shows the Democratic primary for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat in August is a virtual dead heat between Congresswoman Haley Stevens and former state official Abdul Al-Sayed. The survey from Tavern Research was conducted after State Senator Mallory McMorrow suspended her campaign last week Over 2,200 likely Democratic primary voters were asked who they felt would be more likely to defeat Republican candidate Mike Rogers in November. Stevens having 42% support, El Sayed 41%. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says the number of cyclosporiasis cases in the state is nearly 1,000. Most remain in southeast Michigan. No source has yet been pinpointed. Cyclosporiasis is an intestinal illness that causes explosive diarrhea, and dozens have had to be hospitalized. The diarrhea leads to people being dehydrated. Mackinac Bridge authorities reviewed plans for the 68th annual Labor Day Mackinac Bridge Walk. It'll be from 6:30 a.m. until 12 noon. People will be able to start at either St. Ignace in the Upper Peninsula or Mackinac City in the Lower Peninsula. Now, if people want to walk the entire 5-mile span, they need to be on their way back to where they had started by 10 a.m. on Labor Day. Former University of Michigan employee Paige Shiver, the woman who had the inappropriate relationship with former football coach Sharon Moore, that relationship led to his sacking, is suing the school, wanting the college to release the records about the university's investigation into the relationship after officials denied the request, citing an ongoing investigation. Lawsuit also alleges employees violated her privacy rights when they illegally accessed her medical records. Otsego native, former Major League Baseball pitcher Phil Reagan, has died at the age of 89. Reagan played 6 years for the Tigers in the 1960s, made his only All-Star appearance in 1968 while pitching for the Dodgers. He also played for the Cubs and White Sox before retiring in 1972. Reagan coached the Grand Valley State Lakers for 9 seasons, then managed the Orioles in 1995, the Whitecaps in 2002, was the pitching coach for the Cubs, Cleveland, and the Mets. Troy Melton allowed 4 hits with 9 strikeouts over 5+ innings as the Tigers stifled the visiting Athletics last night 6-1.
We have a lot of options and a lot of really good players, so it's super cool being able to watch Scoop go to work, obviously, and then Jack and Casey, what they've been doing lately, and for Amber, too. It's been awesome. And so it's just kind of carrying the baton from the guys that have pitched before me and hopefully do well, and then the guys after me will have the same thing.
The series at Comerica Park in Detroit concludes this evening with coverage from Dan Dickerson at 6:15 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Before the game, Tigers pitcher Justin Verlander announced that this will be his final Major League season. The 43-year-old thanked Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred for making him a Legends pick for next week's All-Star game before announcing his retirement.
It made the most sense for me with the announcement of the Legend pick to go ahead and express why that's happening. So I don't have to deal with a ton of questions at the All-Star game. What, are you not? I thought it was just a better decision to just kind of paint a clear picture of why I'm there.
Pete Armstrong slugged 2 solo homers while Seiya Suzuki added a 3-run blast as Craig Counsell's Chicago Cubs bested the Orioles in Baltimore last night 9-7.
We did a really good job offensively. I thought their guy was really good to start the game. We kind of kept it going, and then in the 7th, we just had great at-bats. So we just had a really good offensive inning and then held on.
The series at Oriole Park at Camden Yards concludes this afternoon. Jake Bennett and 2 relievers teamed on a 4-hit, 6-strikeout shutout as Chad Tracy's visiting Boston Red Sox whitewashed the White Sox last night 5-0.
Same as what he usually does. He just went out there and ho-hum, just pounded the strike zone. It was just really good.
The series at Rate Field in Chicago concludes this afternoon. Bryce Rayner homered and drove in 6 runs, helping to power the West Michigan Whitecaps past the visiting Fort Wayne Tin Caps last night, 14-1. The series at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park continues this evening. Get the latest news anytime at WHTC.com.